Welcome, everybody. This is Dr. Zoo. Today is this very special occasion, 23rd of April, 2026. So special, in fact, that before we bring on board our special guest today, which is Riley Redford, to do some fantastic updates, big news, I just want to welcome, now don't get me wrong, people, Dr. Zoo loves everybody, even though we have our times and testing times together with some people and things we've got to do to make this work properly and tick off the boxes that we've talked about. Today, don't feel left out, but we want an introduction to bring on board as a result of this big announcement today about Zutopia. An intro for our fellow American adopters, because that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be where we start the program to unleash the beast. And I want to make sure that our American friends, and that brings into play our great friends in the Caribbean, we'll put you in the same basket there. But this is for you guys, for your patience coming on board and what's going to happen, because the crypto world, everybody, is all about now, as I said, unleash the beast. So just listen to this for a few seconds, and we can't wait to our American mates. They're going to take this to the moon and back. Here we go.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
How appropriate is that, people? Now, welcome aboard, everybody. You know who you are in the States, the great US of A. We just cannot now. We're ready to get you excited with it. Now, let's get and test the system. Let's bring on the guest who's going to bring on the news. Let's see if we can attach him.
Hello, Al.
Is that you on the other line there, Riley?
It is. How are we?
I am going very well, as you know, Riley. We've been chatting for a long time, and this is a big day today, big occasion.
It is.
Now, I'm assuming that all of our Zuconians, everybody can hear the great man, because we've got a lot of great men, haven't we, Riley? We've got the greater man, our CTO, Robert Novak, been sensational week this week, working with the team.
Yes.
And we have you, Riley.
Oh, I'm glad to be put into that category. It's an honour.
Yeah, you're a little bit soft on the voice there, but I think the team can hear you okay, loud and clear. So you're coming across all right, Riley?
I am? Okay.
Riley, we've waited a long time for someone to say something like what you're going to say. So you can do the intro of what's happening, what's going on, and then we'll I'll ask you the hard questions. But what is the latest, Riley?
Oh, we're jumping straight into it, are we?
We're jumping straight there. You just come out of the blocks and tell us what you're feeling.
Awesome. Well, it's been a interesting little while getting everything ready, getting everything tested, and jumping through the hoops, getting everything live again. But it looks like we are going to push the button, and we're going to start with opening things up for everyone so that they can get in there and start doing their KYC and compliance stuff. So we're going to release a version of the...
Well, don't go too much into it yet, Riley, because I'm going to take you through the process there. But what's the bottom line? What's the bottom line? What's happening tomorrow?
The bottom line tomorrow is we are going to flick the app on.
The app, everybody, means Zutopia. P2P marketplace. Riley, are you certain? Are we going to switch this on 24th of April tomorrow morning. That's Friday.
We sure are. First thing in the morning, it'll be on, and everyone
You're not
can
playing with my
jump
head,
in
Riley.
there.
We've got a lot of people out there that keep asking questions. Are you talking 2026, Riley?
I am. You know how much I love playing with your head, but today I am not. We are pushing the button. That'll be
Right.
tomorrow morning, first
Oh,
thing.
thank God for that. I just give an intro to our great fellow compatriots in the US of A, because that's where, as you know, Riley, we have some big stuff happening there that we've been beavering away. We have other places as well, but this is where it's all going to get very interesting. But Zutopia, people, finally, it's been a long, hard journey, Riley. One day we'll write a book about it, but tomorrow, Friday, 24th of April, 2026, that's a definite switcho to live-o.
Yes, it's exciting. I can't wait. It's nerve-wracking. We'll see my heart copes tomorrow, but no, it's good.
Now, we're not going to go over all the old history of stuff, Riley, because tomorrow is our special day. This is, I think we've got a few festivities happening. The switch on is so important, everybody. There's a couple of steps that I wanted to run through so you get your heads on this. Now, Riley, before I start through the things that's going to be going as a result of live, you know my philosophy. It's about making sure everybody around the planet can get hold of this damn thing, get stuck into the action. And I can't press on you people how important the US of A is going to be. I can't give away too much yet, but let me tell you, we need partners like these characters over there with the core of the epicenter of the world of crypto, Riley. You know from our work that we've been doing how important that is.
No, 100%. Can't give away all the secrets today, Alf. Calm down.
Well, let's go what it means with live onboarding. Now, before we go through this, everybody, it's important you read emails. It's important that the hard work that Riley and the boys have been doing means that you actually, for God's sake, read. Because our attitude is you're going to get left behind. Is that right, Riley? If you can't be bothered reading and looking at pictures and videos and things we're putting out to get this thing right, then we're going to leave you behind.
Exactly. It is very important you read every detail. There'll be enough information out there that you'll know exactly what to do.
Now, I will tell you, people, before I start working my way through this with Riley, and I want everybody to listen very, very carefully. We're going to get one shot at. Now, we're not talking about worrying about price and all that stuff. This is about going live, as we've said, getting it set up for everybody and pressing these buttons, and it'll take care of itself. We talked about the demand, Riley. We've talked about supply, and we know what that means. Not a problem. That'll sort itself through. We're a survivor. Zucoins is a survivor, Riley. There's been a lot of scrap heap coins out there and billions lost, and we've taken the slow approach, but this is what the result turns out to be. Is that right, Riley?
Exactly. I totally agree.
Beautiful. Now, I'll give you an example, everybody. We had one of our, in fact, very close to he'll know who he is, and I'm not going to say his name, but to give you an example, during the course of testing, it was put to us there was a little problem with the app itself. Riley, can you just talk about that problem, Riley, and how you solved it? Because I want to talk about our attitude now in terms of people can get left behind.
Are we referring to the refreshing of the marketplace here?
No, that's okay. That's one we'll talk about in a minute. But this is the one where if you go out there and you have an old phone.
Yes. Yes, interesting one. So we did notice with older phones in particular, people that haven't done any iOS updates at all since they bought their phone, and they've got a phone from, 10 years ago, there will be some issues that you encounter. Now, the one that we did encounter with an earlier generation of an iPhone, we did actually find a workaround particularly for that phone. but it won't always be the case, especially when Apple stops supporting phones and Android stops releasing updates for older phones. We can't, be expected to support them even when those giants aren't supporting them themselves. So it does mean that those people with the older phones may struggle or they may encounter issues that other people would not, and that's just due to technology changing over time and old phones not being able to handle it. But yeah, in this case, we managed to get a workaround in place.
Yep. Now, I just want to press this point, everybody. Dr. Zoo's getting tired. All right, he wants to fire up again, get the juices flowing, get on that freaking G800 as soon as possible. Riley, the people out there know the internal objective, $1,000 a coin. That's not changed. In fact, it's still 20% of the value of Bitcoin, which has been going up nicely again. But Riley, I nearly got into an argument on this one because it was put to me by this particular person that we need to do everything we can to do these workarounds. And you boys did a great job. It was a iPhone 12, I think, was it?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, the argument came back, everybody, that I've got to look after the whole planet. Well, that's not right. Okay? Let me get this point. It was said to me that there's about 15% of the population of iPhone owners, and don't worry, Android's much better from what I can work out with the Android testing we've done. We don't seem to have issues on Android, do we, Riley? It always seems to come back to iPhone for some reason.
Yeah, Androids are a little bit easier to deal with sometimes.
Well, anyway, let me say this. The time and effort it takes, which I'm surprised, and I'm glad the boys got this thing, because you've got to continue to upgrade your phones, right? Check your upgrades yourself. Get out there, look at your phone, and see if you're on 26 plus as the upgrades. I think it's 26, Riley, 26.3 or something like that.
Yes, yep.
And if you're running a 12 and you don't upgrade, or you've got some flip phone that doesn't even have a screen on it, Dr. Zoo isn't going to look after you, right? Because let me say this, everybody. There's 1.5 billion odd phones on planet Earth, iPhones. Not talking about the other ones, right? 1.5 billion. Do the maths. Now, this particular person was trying to con me and say you better look after everybody, not just the 15 or 20% that are upgrading or have got a phone that makes it work properly. And I said to this person, listen, let me tell you a secret. And this is a secret, Roy, I'm ready to share to the community out there today.
Love it.
That means there's 225 million people that have got greater than 12 model phones. Why on God's earth are we going to worry about the stragglers? Because we're tired. We don't run support, do we, Riley?
No, yeah, exactly.
I mean, we try to, and AI is going to take over. And that's why we love countries like the US of A, because they are well and truly on top of things with their phones, Riley. When you've got 60 million people in crypto space in the States alone, this little program of ours doesn't need much on the demand side to take things to Pluto land in terms of price, because they know what they're doing. Now, we'll try and accommodate as much as we can, but out of the blocks, if some of our Zuconian adopters start carrying on about their phones don't work and switch this on or that, guess what? You're going to have to look it up yourself and solve it. So I'll just throw that out there now, Riley. I just want to put that on the table.
Yeah, no, good. I agree.
It's pretty brutal. Now, Riley doesn't necessarily agree with everything that Dr. Zoo says, do you, Riley? So that's not the case, but there you go. So people, just be aware of that and make sure you read, right? We had another couple of characters this week that decided that they don't want to read anything for 2 years and then started whinging about iCloud and coins and backups and all that stuff. We've been banging on that for a long time. You don't necessarily have to put in iCloud. We said that many times, but get it right. Now, Riley, let's get to the good stuff. Zutopia.
Yeah.
We've already got one question here. What time tomorrow? What time are you waking up, Riley? You probably don't get to bed till
What time
5 in the
am I
morning,
working
so
at? I think I have notified the team that I want it open first thing in the morning, so we should see that maintenance screen drop down from 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time.
I don't think we've ever had, because of the nature of the beast and dealing with IT and everything else in the journey of 7 years, Riley, that you've actually locked and loaded on a fixed time, on a fixed date for something to be launched live. This is mind-blowing. This is a first, people. Got to be happy with that.
Scary.
Hey?
It's scary, but we are well prepared, and that's why I spent this week knuckled down, making sure everything was working how I wanted it. So we're very, very confident in that.
Now, Riley,
Yes.
you haven't sort of circled around a lot to some of the things and the issues that confront my other great man, which is Peter Allen, and he's listening. He's done a marvellous job. I've got to congratulate Pete on getting this functional stuff that will surprise people a bit later on in terms of my ability with this podcast. But Riley, you didn't clarify 9 o'clock.
What's that, sorry?
Well, you said 9 o'clock. Now, we
Yeah.
have a lot of people out there that will want to know, is that Sydney time? Are we talking people in Perth that are going to wake up a bit earlier? What are we talking, Riley? What are we talking?
Victorian time, Australian Eastern Standard. So Victorian time, 9 a.m.
See?
I think that's reasonable.
Well, there you go, people. That you've now heard it first, that we do have a fixed time that is location-based to stop any confusion of some people contacting us tomorrow that it didn't go live at 9 because they're based in Guatemala. Okay? So this is brilliant, Riley. I'm starting to enjoy the clarity that we now get to people.
Love it.
So there you go. He said Australian Eastern Standard Time. That's correct. I don't think you said that when we first mentioned 9 o'clock, did we, Riley?
Oh, that was a hour. I can't remember. I think I did. Maybe I did mention it.
Well, listen, I got the recording. We will go back and get correct
what.
because maybe I didn't listen and I'm starting to get infected by the same sort of disease that happens out there in stupid land. But there you go. You did. No, we've got people saying you did, Riley.
Oh, there you go. I'm on the ball today.
I backtrack. So there are people listening. Now, Riley, let's go through the good stuff. The good stuff. Basically, people, this is amazing. This whole Zutopia concept of what's happening here, you're never going to appreciate it, really. I mean, the most appreciation will be, Riley, when it starts to smash through the price. That's when we're going to get a lot more love than we're getting, which will be fantastic. But, Riley, first thing, we open it up, goes live. What is the very first thing that I've got on my list that you want to make sure that we get rid of, and that is the old app? Can you talk about that through first? That's the first thing you want people to do.
Yes, I think people will have different versions of the app. They may have the dev one, they may have the demo one, they may have the live one if they were doing trading previously. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of all of them. We want to get rid of any Zutopia app. Now, I'll repeat, Zutopia, not your Zucoin's wallet. That can stay. You're only deleting your Zutopia apps, which is the one with the blue and yellow icon. So we want to get rid of that. Now, it's not a case of that won't update. It's just a case of it's best to clear it out so that if you do have a different version or you've got the demo one, that there's not going to be any issues. You've got a fresh install and you can start from scratch. So
now Riley, sorry to cut you. All these things are starting to swim around in my head again. If I have got the old app, and I've been through the pain barrier of all of the KYC stuff, what does that mean? Does it mean that's what's going to happen to that?
So you're safe. Everything is logged in to your wallet. So your wallet, as we know, is the login system for Zutopia. So even deleting the app off your phone, that still doesn't delete the connection between your wallet and Zutopia. So when you come back in and log in to Zutopia using your wallet, if you've done KYC in the past, it'll all be there waiting for you.
Okay. And that's because of the connection between Zucoin verification on the signature that opens up the Zutopia wallet, which is unique to the world. I might throw that in there as well.
Yes, so that's what you use to log in, that unique signature. And yeah, so that'll keep you all your data in sync, and you won't need to redo KYC if you're already complying there.
All right. Now, that's important because last time in the soft launch, we had more queries from people with 30,000 Zutopia apps running around and getting confused and messing things up. And it turns out all they had to do was get rid of the thing in the first place and start again. So can we make sure people, first instructions. Now, this will be all in emails tomorrow morning, won't it, Riley?
Yes, yep, it's all going out. It'll be very clear for you to go through each step, but that's the first one.
Rightio. Beautiful. Now they got rid of that problem. We're going to set up a new Zutopia account. Just give us a quick rundown in the email of what's going to happen so people can get that right. Now, people, the reason we're taking a little bit longer here on this is that you can come back to Dr. Zoo and listen to this. You'll get the emails and everything else, not a problem. But we have new people on board, so be patient. You might be the greatest genius of Zutopia. You might have got your degree in Zutopia land, but there are others are now starting the course and need to be onboarded. So just pretend you're stupid again and you're now starting afresh, everybody, so we can get the onboarding, the live onboarding, ticking the boxes real quick. So Riley, setting up a new Zutopia account, what do we do?
Yeah, so everyone will get an email tomorrow morning that'll go through the details on that. So you'll install the app using the prompts and using the instructions in the email. And when you come into that, obviously you'll be linking your wallet. Again, those instructions are going to be very clear for you to go ahead and do. And once you've linked your wallet, you'll be in there, you'll be able to see that it's either already KYC'd. If you've done your KYC in the past and nothing's expired, then it'll already be there, all good to go. If you do require an update to your KYC, or you need to start from scratch.
Well, hang on, let's not get too far ahead of me, Riley. I haven't got to KYC yet. You get me worked up, excited again. But let's just backtrack a little bit, Riley.
Yeah.
We're talking about now where do people, and I guess, and I haven't tested this actually, but I presume all the links are working 100% on the Zutopia website and inside of the Zucoin wallet when you press the Zutopia icon, that'll allow you to then install a new Zutopia app. Is that right?
Correct, yeah. So you'll be able to do it from two places, either the Zucoin's wallet with the Zutopia button there on the home page, or you'll be able to go to our website and use the direct link, which is app.zootopia.com. Both of those references will be in the email as well on how to do it both ways. But yes, that will be how you get to the website, and all those links have been tested and are all working A-OK.
Now, people are making commentary about the website for Zutopia being obsolete or information. That's next on our checklist. Has not been a priority, everybody. My main priority has been the app functionality, live and direct marketing that we're doing. But certainly, Riley, that's in your little book of things to do, is to get the AI to go over and rehash the website so it's correct with some pictures and things.
Yeah, so videos are being worked on at the moment. A lot of the updates that are needed to the website are around processes that weren't yet locked in. So those updates will go into the website so everything's there, and that'll be off the back of the information I provide everyone in those emails. That's what's going to really be the basis of those website updates.
Now, we've got, I just want to circle back, Riley, because I'm looking at the questions. The iPhone 12, that was an issue with Zutopia people. Zucoin wallet, as I understand it, was fine. But the same principle applies. If you don't upgrade your phone, then it can affect a lot of apps. So, you know, the quicker those upgrades are locked and loaded on the iPhone in particular, it makes our job a lot easier because, you know, as I said, we had someone with an iPhone 6 and really I shared my wisdom with that one and just said, shove it up your ass. But that's not going to be the process, because we're much better people than that, aren't we, Riley? We like to help everybody.
You know it.
Thank you very much. Yes, absolutely. Now, you got some people talking about transactions. I don't want to jump to transactions just yet. Oh, hang on. Yeah, and you're talking about two different wallets. If I have two wallets, can I use the same KYC? I'll get into that in a minute, people, because I want to step out the next thing that we want to do in the live onboarding. So we've now got a Zutopia account. We've now linked it to our Zucoin wallet. We've got a live feed in there of the coin balances. Is that right, Riley?
In the Zucoin wallet, yeah, there's a live feed in there of the price.
And that's recognised by the Zutopia wallet, so that we know exactly what's going on. We don't know who's got the wallet, but we know what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we start to look at creating your own buy-sell listings. Would you say that's the next step, or you want to jump to KYC? What would be the first thing when they get in the wallet, into Zutopia?
Yeah, KYC will come first, because you won't be able to do any of the listing actions before you complete KYC.
Yep.
So, yeah, that'll come first, and you'll be notified when you get in there. Once you've installed it, you'll see on that front page, it'll tell you whether or not you need to complete KYC. There'll be a yellow banner there that tells you set up your KYC now, and you'll be able to tap that to go through the prompts.
So just on that, Riley, just make a note, because I worked with the team on the steps there with the live onboarding, but I didn't put that in any, that order has got the Stripe about the 5th or 6th, so you might just change that round.
What's that, sorry? Where are you
in the email going out for the live onboarding tomorrow morning?
Yeah.
Just make sure that the little section there on comply with Stripe's KYC is at the top after the set up a Zutopia account, just to keep things in order.
Yes.
Just make sure that sequencing of is identified in sequence.
Yeah, perfect.
Now, there's a question there on while we're in the Stripe KYC, that's both now for the buy and sell. Is that right?
Correct, yes. So we initiated that in the previous launch towards the end, but it's still in this one. Both buyer and seller will need to be KYC'd.
Yes, on that one. And people need to meticulously follow what Stripe wants. If you don't give what Stripe wants, you don't get to play the game.
Yep, exactly.
Now, someone's asked what KYC is, Riley. Can you enlighten one of our people that?
Yep, KYC is stands for Know Your Customer, and it's a requirement in the banking and payments industry. It's a requirement by Stripe. So your KYC data is handled and managed by Stripe itself. We just reference it to say, hey, they're allowed to enter into these transactions. So that's all that data is handled directly by Stripe, which is why an iframe pops up when you do KYC, because you're actually talking directly to the Stripe servers.
Now, a good question here is that if I've got two wallets, I don't know why you'd have two Zutopia wallets, but anyway, people get carried away with this stuff. The question is, can you have the same KYC for Zutopia?
So with Zutopia, our general advice is to not have multiple Zutopia accounts, as it may result in restrictions to your account. So we advise you do not open up multiple Zutopias linked to the same Stripe account, as it may cause a flag. So we do regularly go through and make sure that we are complying with those regulations. So yeah, we advise do not open up multiple Zutopia accounts.
And if I've got two Zucoin wallets, you obviously need a different Zucoin wallet with a different Zutopia one, if that's going to be locked and loaded that way, isn't it?
Correct, yeah. So it's only one Zucoin wallet per Zutopia at this stage.
Yeah. So one thing through this, everybody, is generally it's quite easy to shift. Well, it is very easy. In fact, it's instantaneous. If people shift their coins amongst their own Zucoin wallets and lock one of those wallets into a Zutopia app, then you'll be able to trade to your heart's content and sort out your back end through the downloadable data that you can have for tax purposes or whatever. That would be the best way to do it, Riley, because you just minimise the impact of problems that may arise when you're trading or trying to trade with multiple wallets.
Yeah, exactly. And what we've seen people do in the past is they have one wallet that's purely Zootopia trading, and then if they manage self-managed super funds or companies, again, not giving any financial advice here, it's up to you how you do that, but some people have used a main wallet and had some mechanism to hold those funds to deal on Zootopia. So that's something people have done in the past. But yeah.
Now, it looks like we've got a couple of people coming in late to the discussion because we had already addressed this question, Riley, but I'll just cover it again. This could be new adopters, but the Zutopia app is still under maintenance because Riley hasn't pressed the button till 9 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time, Melbourne, located in Victoria, Australia, Southern Hemisphere, in the morning. So that's why you still have maintenance on there. So don't go press anything just yet, people, because it's not on. But that is the timeline, Riley. Can you just repeat that again, Riley? Because some must have missed the conversation earlier about going live in the morning.
Yes, so tomorrow 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time is when that maintenance screen will drop and everyone will be able to jump on from that point forward.
And the user's suggesting that they've got the Zutopia app on their phone from last year. We've just indicated earlier in the show, get rid of it. So you'll get instructions on that in the morning on an email, how to delete that. Won't go through that now, but get rid of that before you start playing with the onboarding, and then create all hell will break loose because you've got stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
Even testing things. So get rid of everything. Is that right? Except your Zucoin wallet, people. Don't go down that road and start telling us you lost your million coins, for God's sake, because you'll be putting $1 billion up. That'll be gone. It's good for everybody else. But by the way, Riley, if you lose coins, there's a lot of advantage for those that have still got coins, because that means there's less coins out there in the marketplace, which is fantastic.
Exactly.
And that, Riley, proves my point of Newton's third law. For every action, there's an equal opposite reaction.
Yes.
Now, Riley, then I would suggest in the list of our little onboarding live, you're going to tell people, educate them exactly how to add or delete their cards, which is crucial if people want to get paid directly from Stripe when they sell some coins.
Yes. So after you do the KYC step, that's when you'll be able to do listings. So that will come in the email after. The KYC email will be an email about how to do those listings. And if you're doing buy orders, you'll be adding in your card details into that section so that you can select a card that you wish to buy coins with. And then if you're doing sell listings, you'll be able to go through the process, put in all the details and create that listing. They'll display there on the marketplace as the listings do, with the 3-hour timer that you have to be active for. So you'll have all that functionality in there to be able to play around, create those listings, get everything ready to go.
Right now, people, you'd be absolutely amazed how difficult it's been for some people to add card details. I know it sounds crazy in this current world that we live in. Now, someone's got a problem with this sound. I'm not sure why, but I'm going to have to suggest, deck the halls, that you have a problem at your end, internet or what you're using, because we have all these other people here quite happily listening to what's happening. So it's just one of those unfortunate things, but we will have the replays up and about for people to. What's going on here, Riley? He's got sounds all good here. Yeah, no, we're okay. So it's one of those individual things. Unfortunately, Riley, we don't build computers. Otherwise, we would have sorted that out as well. Now,
Well,
Riley,
yeah, no, not in that business.
it may sound simple, but creating your own buy-sell listings. Let's now go on to that topic as the next stage in the live onboarding, because that's where people flooded us with extraordinary amount of support queries, ranging from the way the price is a free market to set, top or bottom, the way in which the volume is set, and the way in which the system's designed for partial orders. Because as a free peer-to-peer, you could put in $1 million if you want and so on, but you might just talk through that process, Riley, which we need to get that right with people, because that's been an absolute nightmare over the journey.
Yeah, so it definitely has, and it's been an interesting point seeing people not being able to get through the steps, but we've made it as simple as possible, I think, now. So really, what's really cool about the new app is you've got that plus symbol sitting right down the bottom, so you can hit that from almost any screen on the app, hit that plus symbol, and you'll be asked whether you want to create a buy or sell listing, and then you can go in and fill in your details. If you are creating a listing, it'll also ask if you want to do a partial listing. This one is particularly interesting because we've actually seen partial listings go very well on the market. So you can go in there, create the partial listing with a maximum number of coins you want to sell and a minimum number so that people can transact anywhere in that range. So people might buy as little as $50 or as high as 50,000, depending on your listing and what figures you've got in there. But it really allows you to give that flexibility to people coming into the market to action your listing. And particularly because we are limiting it to 2 active listings per user, as we did in the last launch as well, having that flexibility to do the partial listing allows you to be on the market quite consistently without creating new listings every time one's actioned. So that is a good feature people should wrap their head around and look at using. And then you've got all your functionality in there to set the price, and as well as what card you want to use. Obviously, you can select different cards from the manage section when you're doing a buy listing. And what else? You've got your fees page, so that'll show you what fees you're being charged relative to your listing, and you'll also be warned if you're not meeting any thresholds. One big thing we have shifted over is the change from AUD to USD. So you will notice when you are creating a listing, you need to meet the USD thresholds. First transactions of the month have a higher threshold, but you'll see that when you go in and create that listing, it'll give you a warning if it sits under. So just make sure you're looking out for that little warning at the bottom of the listing, but everything else pretty self-explanatory, but it will have it all detailed out in that email with extra information for you.
Now, Riley, with the listings, when you're creating a buy or sell, the people have got to understand that if you're a buyer, the limitations on buying is only governed by what your bank will allow you to do. So that's the feedback from Stripe. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. I believe our upper threshold is somewhere around $950,000. That's what you're allowed to process via Stripe for a buy order. But anything up to that point, it's totally up to your bank settings.
Correct. Now, the next step from there is we then get people on the listings on the buy or sell. What's the maximum number of we've allowed in the database, purely because of the objective of Zutopia is to not participate in anything really other than facilitate the off exchange transfer of coins and money directly to people. But what's the number of listings on either side that we've got set in the system?
Yeah, so each individual user can set 2 listings per side, so 2 buys, 2 sells.
And that means that there's no limit. I mean, someone could say they've got 10 million coins and they're putting them for sale at $1,000 and they've got partial orders and they can sit on that one order if that's the pricing and the range that they want, though.
Yeah, exactly. And that is the best way to do it, is to put, the total amount you want to sell, put it in a partial order, so it just keeps getting actioned and the total just decreases by whatever you sell it or buy at each point.
Yep. Then you've got the ability to edit or delete, and that's just part of the onboarding live process we want people to get used to, because how long does that listings last under the automation system?
So the listings will stay up there, but they will only be live for 3 hours at a time, and you've got to be coming back into the app and reactivating them. So we won't automatically delete them, but we will put them to sleep so they can't be actioned if you're not actively coming into the marketplace.
So it's critical that with our strategy and focus, obviously we've got a lot of daylight time people trading, which will be fine. But if you're starting to get some action, because this thing runs 24/7, you might be up at 3 a.m. from dealing with your fellow American compatriots trading on their daytime cycle, and that's something to be conscious of. Is that right, Riley?
Yes, yeah. So, making sure you're going back in there and reactivating that, and obviously if you miss an interaction as well, so if you do, miss an interaction because you're not by your phone, that's why we've got that 3-hour cycle, to ensure that you are there and you don't miss any transactions. If you do, we do also put those listings to sleep. So I did notice last time some people would go on and reactivate it at 2 a.m, but then they wouldn't respond to their listings. So just making sure that you are only reactivating when you're going to be actually transacting on the system.
And the other thing we've got to be conscious of, we're talking at bullet speeds now because of the instant transfers, and that's a game changer. So that in itself, we're interested to see how that pans out with people getting the notifications. If you're not on the ball, then there's some problems. You might miss the cut-offs, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So they've got to be very, very careful in the way in which they manage out their trading times and listings. Listings are going to be crucial.
Yes, they will. Yep.
Now, once a sale goes through, Riley, what's the recorded last sale mechanism that's picked up? Is that real time? What are we talking now?
Are you referring to what mechanism are you referring to here? The pricing feature?
Like if a sale went through at $103.90.
Yep.
And that shows up in the last sale. Just talk through how that algorithm works and whether that's in real time. Like will it go through now, or will people see that those changes fluctuating quickly or slowly, or what's happening?
Yeah, so that last price that will be updated at every close of every transaction. So that's no longer tied to a time cycle mechanism like it used to be. But we also do have other statistics there that will be accessible to users at a near point in the future, which will give them 24-hour averages and stuff like that. But at this stage, that figure that you see will be the last transaction that happened in the system. So that could update quite rapidly.
So people, you're going to see some violent movements. You'll have my little mates, the silly sellers out there, Riley. They might be at 55 cents, and we'll have the prudent buyers. And then that could, for a whole raft of reasons, as volume picks up and so on, that might have swings of anything from 53 cents or whatever it is, $1, could be as high as, $250 or $300 in those cycles. And that's happening at bullet speed now.
Yep, exactly. With that instant transactions that have come in play, it makes it a lot easier for that price to do whatever it needs to, and it's instant.
Now, just on that trading, Riley, what we've spent a lot of time on, and Dr. Zoo lost a few bucks, but look, he's okay with that. He's all right. You just don't worry about it, Riley. It's all good.
Part of the process.
Yeah, that's right. But listen, when we look at the strategy of this direct person-to-person marketplace, which is extraordinary when you think about it, 24 hours, 7 days a week, people can be dealing to whatever late in the morning they want with somebody over there in Wichita in the USA. Just as an example, Riley, it's a nice little spot down there. They might even wander up to Dallas or wherever they're going. So as a result of that trade and the way in which the speed of this can happen now, we've just got to be conscious of that we have a unique environment where we're not governed by manipulation or market makers in this engine at all, are we, Riley?
No, not at all. It's all the peers that control the market.
So whatever the price, it's now in the lovely hands of those who are fortunate enough to have coins and those who are even more fortunate enough to get their hands on coins as we now start the real official journey with the whole process that we have is now coming on board as a result of this, Riley.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Now, Riley, your team will be monitoring as we get the email out. We just want people to read, for God's sake. Please take your time to go through what the work the boys have been and girls have been putting together for your benefit to maximise the pleasantries of getting your accounts set up. Because remember, the data and the analytics we get, Riley, is all about what we need to fine tune or tweak for mass adoption, because that's our focus. We're not worried about the outcomes. We're more about how this brings into play more wallets, which we're building up now and can get onto Zutopia, and more transactional volumes across the board. So we want those statistics in our hot little hands. And then, Riley, you're the man with the secret codes, and that'll switch the live trading button on as well as we go through this process.
Yes, exactly. I will be watching very carefully that the systems are going well, but most importantly, that the users are interacting properly, getting that KYC done, learning the system. The most important thing, and the thing that I can't stress enough, is that people go through and, as you said, carefully read the instructions, do the KYC properly, because one of the main things I'll be looking at when I speak with our account managers over at Stripe is to make sure that they're happy, because we need to keep that relationship going. So I need to make sure they're happy with all the data that's coming through, and then when we do flick that switch, we're going to see less issues, because we are closely monitoring that relationship with Stripe and making sure that everyone's information's in there without any issues, and we can just happily transact.
Yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, for everybody, if you get on the wrong side of Stripe, it can all come to a screeching halt real quick. And in the past, the analytics that we got on the soft launch, whilst we exceeded expectations on number of coins, albeit at lower prices as well, Riley, but I think, was it about 3.5 million coins?
Yeah, it was somewhere close to that. So
nearly 4 million or $5 million, no, $4.5 million worth. But
yeah,
the biggest thing was you get people saying, I've done my KYC and it's all great. And then they've been a bit naughty. A lot of naughty people out there, maybe not deliberately naughty, but we've had some naughties. And they don't follow the processes properly. And then when they go to sell and they were getting money that had to come into their hot little hands, and as an example, might have been $30,000 or $40,000, which is a lot for those that were on the journey at early adoption prices because of the hunt and collect. And then they start whinging and carrying on because Stripe won't pay the payment across because they haven't done their KYC properly. That's the problems we're here to solve. Correct, Riley?
Yep, exactly. We saw that with a select number of people that there was, those issues, and we want to make it as smooth as possible and not face too much of that. Or none
Correct.
of that is my preferred solution.
Well, look, that's our goal, and we hope that if there's the strict compliance and you follow it through, and if you don't, well, guess what? I said it earlier, you're going to get left behind because the effort and time it takes to sort this stuff out one-on-one, and you're talking some serious money people, the easiest solution, if it goes wrong, because you didn't do your listings properly, you didn't create the orders properly, you didn't edit them, you didn't do your partials, or we have super speeds now on coins going from A to B. Super speeds. It's mind-blowingly fast compared to other systems on the planet. At 100,000 plus transactions per second, you're not going to see anything come within a bull's eye. I mean, Bitcoin's at 7 transactions per second. Think about it. 7 versus 100,000, and we want massive, millions of adoption, which means you're now running a system at millions of transactions per second, the way it's designed. So the best solution for us is to just turn it off in terms of the individual persons that are being or can't do things as a result of the way the system works. We're not here it won't lose money and it won't lose coins, but it means it's just not worth dealing with that sort of listing, because you can go and list your own Zucoins through the normal Zucoin channel directly in your own networks in marketing and create your own exchanges and all the rest of it, because we'd rather focus on the next 900,000 new wallets and get those to a maximum throttle in terms of live onboarding, because that correlates to demand, which equals more demand for coins and price. And if we've got to spend time on people that don't want to meet Stripe's compliance standards, well, go and find something else to play with, because it's not worth our while in Zutopia. All right. So we're getting pretty strict on that, aren't we, Riley? We've got to stick to our guns on it.
Yep.
Riley, can you just talk to the team about staying away from VPNs and that sort of stuff as well while we're on this?
Yeah, so it's interesting. It's a lesson we learnt in our last phase around Stripe, and particularly, not Stripe in particular, but all payment processors have their own way of doing fraud detection and fraud prevention. But Stripe's system uses a fraud score from 0 to 100, and we tightened up our fraud score. So a typical merchant will only accept fraud scores up to a certain point, but we've reined ours right in so that, it's tight, along with turning on 3DS. But the things that contribute most to that score, which is quite interesting, is having a VPN. Now, it is quite common for people to have VPNs, but it's also quite common for people to switch them off on certain websites when they're doing certain activities. And Zutopia will be one of those, because if you do go in and transact with a VPN on, there is a risk that your transactions declined because of that. So just keep that in mind, that there is that risk. The other things that contribute, not as much as the VPN, but there is things that contribute, such as your address not matching the address on your card, the name not matching, and things like that. But that VPN one did 9 times out of 10, it shot the fraud score up to 70 straight away, which would almost certainly get blocked in most cases. So yeah, you need to be careful if you are using a VPN and you notice issues. I'd turn it off. If you notice your transactions getting declined, I would say there's a reason why, and it could be that VPN.
And the bottom line with this, people, is look, you've got legitimate coins. We've been through the hard yards to tick all the boxes with all of the legal regulatory requirements in many jurisdictions and kicking some big goals, particularly in Australia, Europe, and USA on their home jurisdictions. And if you play by the rules in this instance, at the end of the day, all you're interested in is maximising, in this scenario of Zutopia, the return on your sale or purchase. And if it's good money in, it's good money out. Zutopia doesn't want to take any positions on being moderators or anything like that, Riley. I mean, there's some weirdo transactions we've had to look at, but otherwise it's up to primarily Stripe. We don't want, it's a free network, it's marketplace free, it's dealing with your fellow Zucoin holders, and in addition to that, as I understand it, we're one of the few rare merchants in the world, if not, I don't know of any others that I've heard of, but we've made it mandatory for 3DS. So that's all about your security code directly with your bank, because that means there's no reversal risk for us, Riley. Is that right?
Correct, yeah. And just on that point, I don't think I've ever interacted with a website that's made it mandatory. And I think it is, yeah, an amazing feature.
Oh, it's huge for us because it gets rid of the crap and you know, some of our naughty hackers out there that are knocking off cards and things in Africa and India and all over the joint. This is about delivering an outcome that you want, and that is the sale of your coins or the purchase. It's pretty simple.
Yep.
What we have to plan for, everybody, to make sure it's not, this is really the early days. You guys are getting all excited and you'll be pump excited about what's going on and more people coming on and price. That's great. But Riley, the team, Robert, we are well ahead of you in preparing for how this works for Zoo tokens, the way in which Zoocas will operate. The great work Riley's also project managing that out as well. And that's got huge ramifications, hasn't it, Riley, when you start dealing merchant to customer and the volumes that we can be talking about on that front?
Yeah, exactly. That's it's going to be an interesting project, and can't wait to see that coming out. But yeah, it's going to have a huge impact with volumes and stuff like that, I would suspect.
Absolutely. So we are wanting to literally get into hundreds of millions, billions, or trillions of transactions, people, and you are, interestingly, are the guinea pigs in terms of how let's call it the vanilla Zucoin transacts. And, you know, your enjoyment and thrills will be in the returns. You've taken the risks. We're not a World Liberty coin that's going to court at the moment and dropped 98% and all this sort of stuff. We have real opportunity here now. Zutopia is unique. It's ticking all the right boxes and proving what Dr. Zoo's been on about. You know, some of the manipulations we've been reading in recent days, Riley, on exchanges, the response we're getting has been phenomenal as to the structure of what's been created.
Yeah, yeah. It is interesting. Every week in the news, I feel as though there's another crypto story that sheds some light on what's going on, and it's just good to see the setup we've got with our project. And I don't think we'll be one of those stories anytime soon. So it's great.
Now, there's a little question there about mass marketing. I will, Dr. Zoo, let you know when the official absolute full throttle mass marketing will be commencing. We've got plenty of numbers to get on now, which will accommodate, we believe, the buying support and what people are going to see. But in good time, Dr. Zoo will also have another special show about the mass marketing on the scales that I'm talking about, which is millions and millions. But the last thing we want tomorrow morning, Riley, is actually 1 million accounts coming on board, because we'll have 900,000 headaches. I can see it coming.
I would rather not deal with 1 million tomorrow. That's we'll leave that as another week problem, because let's get through this phase before we go into 1 million wallets just yet.
Well, the irony is you don't need that many anyway when you're talking the numbers and price what it is. But that's
Exactly.
where ultimately the mass marketing is, where you do want tens of millions of merchants interacting directly with coin holders, either through tokens or coins. Because I don't think you out there in Zucoin world realise the power of what can happen when you have a direct relationship with a merchant or their products that can flick straight through to your phone, whether you have them as favourites or not, and you get the benefit of those value propositions, people. That's the ultimate goal, that you won't even want to be bothering to sell Zucoins on Zutopia. You'll be trading in tokens, and you'll be dealing directly with merchants for payment using Zucoins. The more you can avoid the banks and the conversions and stuff, the better off you'll be. But it's hard to get in people's heads at the moment, Riley, because we're all interested in just getting a couple of Gulfstreams lined up out at Albury Airport, some new cars, and all the flash things that come with that, keeping everybody happy. Is that right?
Yeah, it sounds like Albury Airport might need to put in another runway.
No, the Gulfstream can handle that. If it was the Boeing, we'd be in trouble. We'd be in a bit of bother,
Oh,
Riley.
right, okay.
Don't you worry about that. Well, Riley, you've been longer than I'd hoped today, but just finally, people, the great man Riley will be handling it from here on in, 9 o'clock in the morning, Australian Eastern Standard Time. Get excited. Please, please go through the processes of what's there for the live onboarding and stuff. Don't jump around like jackasses. Get in there and do it properly. If you do it properly to start with, you will have no problems later on as well. And give Riley all the comfort that he needs to see that we don't have 19,000 wallies that are still fiddling around with compliance, and he gets inundated. Because if that happens, Dr. Zoo won't be happy. And it's a lot easier for Dr. Zoo to turn it off and just go to the Queensland racing scene in June. So let's not do that. Let's just get everybody focused, read stuff. Any sort of parting words of wisdom before the buttons hit in the morning, Riley?
No, just everyone, read. That is the most important thing. We'll take it one step at a time. Everything will be there for you. So you'll be able to go through it. And we can get everyone on there, verified and ready for the next steps. So that's amazing. Thank you very much for having me on today, Al.
No, it's a pleasure, Riley. I think that'll do us for now, and you just handle the weight of it tomorrow. And thanks, everybody. Riley, I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to give another final tribute to my American friends, which are so crucial, as you know, Riley. You know who they are.
Perfect. All right. Sounds good. I will let you go. Thank you very much, everyone. And thanks, Al. Speak soon.
Good. And listen, Riley,
Yes.
finally, if you have genuine questions, I'm sure the team will look after you, people, right? If you've got genuine support queries and you don't understand something, we get it. That's not a problem. It's when we get some ridiculous things that builds up and builds up, and you know, Riley, that turns you and I into alcoholics, because we just can't cope with some of the volumes of emails we get that we think and look back and go, oh my God, please.
Exactly. If you've read all the emails, if you've read the user guides, if you've looked at the FAQs and the troubleshooting stuff on the website and there's still an issue, well, clearly you'll need to contact us, and that's, we'll deal with that then, and then that helps us update all of those.
And we will update the website, but it's not crucial, because 99% of the information is exactly the same. It's just some cosmetic stuff, everybody. Yeah. Rightio, Riley, you jump ship. We'll leave you in the morning, mate.
Thank you very much. See everyone.
Thanks, big fella. Cheers, mate.
Bye.
Well, people, exciting times. I've been hanging out for this time since you wouldn't believe. You don't have no idea, everybody. I get the coins, I get the price, I get the demand, but it unleashes things. As I said before, the breakthrough on that instant transactions on about the 22nd of December last year was phenomenal. Was absolutely phenomenal. So it's opening us up to some incredible doors. The doors are opening, and the exciting parts now. There really is, and getting into it and seeing what's going to happen and the opportunities. So I'll finish on this for my really pump priming our American backers today. Everybody deserves the benefits of Zutopia being live, but we're going to welcome on board some crazies from the US of A. And here they go.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen,